Hey, Church Project, 2024 has been a really beautiful year. We have given you, a great team of people, put together a story of all that God has done in our church this year. And somehow, some of it, most of it, much of it is tied to giving. That's because Jesus made it that way. He just said, where your treasure is, your heart will be also. Jesus talked so much about giving and generosity. He actually wants our heart. That's what he's going after. And if he does that, he's going to have to go after our wallet too. Jesus uses our giving for the gospel. And we want to be a part of that more and more. In fact, the Bible says that we should be growing in all these things, including growing in our generosity. And so I hope that you're growing in your generosity. I'm a follower of Jesus too. Jesus works on this in my life. He wants to continue to grab my heart away from this world and use a lot of my giving for the gospel and for good. And I know he's doing that with many of us too. I'd love for you to read this booklet that's been put together for you, see what God's doing in our church, and also see the end of the year objectives that we have to really help us have a really strong 2025. I'm excited every year about what God's done and what God's doing next, but I really believe this next year, there are some things that are going to be happening that are incredible, that God's been building up to, and we've been praying about and working towards for a long time. The first objective for the end of the year is we just want to be healthy and wise, and we want to have a reserve. We've never had a reserve, but it's hurt us, and especially this past year, it was just difficult for us when we had really unexpected expenses with a lot of infrastructure here, mud district stuff, roof stuff, things like that. And we were in between some leases that actually pay for our buildings. And we just need a reserve. Our giving is healthy, but our reserve is not. So we're going to have what our board has deemed as just a basic minimum healthy reserve. That's the first thing. It's going to help us in so many ways. Secondly, we really want to get our clinic functioning. You as a church did a beautiful job of helping build the clinic. It's been open 1 day a week right now. We're moving to opening 3 days a week. We really want to open 5 days a week. At maximum full capacity, we could see up to 65,000 patient visits a year. But at minimum, we'll be seeing tens of thousands of patients. We already have the audience. These are all the ministries that we work with, like Back to School Better, when we had 1,500 kids come in our building. Those are the families that we'll be serving and more. And we want to get the clinic up and running. So we want to build a reserve, want to get the clinic up and running, and then we really want to get our network going. We've been planting some churches, but Church Project, I'm telling you, I'm all around the nation and other places in the world, and it's really time for our network to become a thing, like a real legitimate, intentional thing. And we're going to have to do a little bit of hirings, beef up some infrastructure, some other things for this. So these are the three main objectives in addition to the beautiful things we do. Your giving here at our church, it supports all that happens here. Sundays are important. Our small but powerful staff is important. The ministries that we support on a regular basis are important. And these three objectives are going to help us be healthy, fulfill our calling in every way. Here's my calling for you. One, just start giving regularly if you're not. This is something that I and my wife do and have done for many years. God has proven his promises and blessed us and then invited us to participate in some great things. Start giving regularly. Just begin. Begin with a tithe, and hopefully you'll grow. We start to give to the gospel and good through our local church and other places too, but first, always through the local church. So start giving, and then if you're already giving and you can do more, end of year things are helpful for us. A lot of giving, we depend on the end of the year to help us into next year. So I hope that you'll prayerfully and even sacrificially give towards these goals so that 2025 will just start strong. Church Project, I love you. I love what God's called us to do together. This is a church. It's Jesus' church. It's the most powerful thing on the planet. We take it seriously here, the work that Jesus has called us to do. I love it. I love you. I'm grateful that God's allowed us to be a part of these great things together. So this is worth our time, worth our giving. While we're on our planet for the short time, the things we're doing here touch eternity. I love you. I'm grateful for you. See you soon.